So I just found one of the new best recipes inside of the Forge, and I'm not gonna lie, this isn't clickbait. This is actually such a broken recipe. So make sure you do stay till the end because we're gonna be breaking down this recipe and the best way to use it. So obviously, right now, this is probably one of the best weapons I've seen by far. Not because of the insane damage or because the crazy chances and all that, but because it just has like one of the most broken things ever. So firstly, obviously, I'm going to show you this weapon and the step by step. And the best part is this weapon is super overpowered, and you don't even have to use things like Heaven Knight or Gargantuan ore to make this absolutely broken. So obviously, this all started with a little person join my Discord server, which you should definitely check out, linked in the description. And today might just be your lucky day, but if you're watching this video within 1 week of it coming out, then you can enter into my 50 race reroll giveaway, where I'm giving away any game pass you want or 50 race rerolls. And all you got to do to enter into the video is comment your Roblox username down below, leave a like, and hype this video. And that'll go ahead and enter you into the giveaway. And they sent me a notification. Now, this has crazy stats, and obviously I'll show you that in a second. But firstly, what you're going to want to do to make this even better is you can check the website linked in the description. It'll have all the ores and all that. But one of the really best things about this is just how easy you can get it. So here is the full setup. So this is pretty much what makes this really broken, which I'll explain in a minute. But what makes this weapon broken, because of the setup, we're going to have to firstly go on over to the Forgotten Kingdom, because this is going to be using the Gauntlet recipe, which, as you might know, is only doable over in the Forgotten Kingdom. So we're just going to come over here. And obviously, it's going to be these gauntlets just right here. So this is what makes them super broken. So obviously we have some decent stats on it. As you can see, we have 156 damage. And because gauntlets have one of the best DPSs, as you can see, 0.51. Obviously, this wasn't even that high of a multiplier, making it this good. Obviously getting the 100% masterwork is going to make this by far the best. But as you can see, obviously we have this critical damage, increase critical damage by 30%, increase critical chance by 73%. And then we have this snow applies 25% attack speed and movement speed slow for this. So this is from another ore. Then we have this, which is the insane thing about it. So if you look at this right here, as you can see, freeze enemies for 0.3 seconds and has a 3.75% chance to hit and has a cooldown of 1.8 seconds. Now, obviously, you might look at this and not think it's too good, but this is what makes it broken. So when crafting normally with the eyesight, which is what we're really getting this from, this is a perfect example. This sword right here, the default is 2 seconds and a 15% chance and an 18-second cooldown. So the cooldown by default is always going to be this 18-second cooldown right here, which is why this one, as you look at it, is a 1.8 seconds. So this is where this gets really broken. So the way this gets really, really overpowered, obviously, right now you might look at it and not think it's too much of it, because obviously, you know, it does have, yes, bad freezing chances and isn't even that good. Obviously, this isn't a good area to really test it because we're just going to one-shot everything. So we're going to head back on over to the Frostfire Expanse to make sure we actually can get the glitch to work. So inside of Frostfire Expanse, what we're going to do now is, obviously, when you're up here and you're killing pretty much anything, obviously, we're going to be going against big NPCs. And I mean, as you can see, just like this, right? Like, it's not really popping. Obviously, we do have to hit him a lot of times. And my race does also help make it deal more damage. But we're going to have to hit him a lot of times, and it didn't even activate the freeze. But everything breaks because of this one mechanic. So we're going to come on down into the main area. We're just going to come on over to this right here at the Rune Maker. Now, this is where the system actually gets really overpowered. So we're going to talk to the Rune Maker, and you want to use these ores. You want to use not only the Frostspect ores, but you want to get the ones from the Yetis that are going to have the Frostspect too. Reason for this is not only will they have multiple other things making them way better, but for specifically this stat right here, if we can get increased attack speed and increased critical chance, this is what will make the weapon absolutely overpowered. So obviously, first, we're going to need to come on over to the enhancer and upgrade it. So now that we've gotten it up to this, what we're going to do is we're going to come on over to the Rune Maker, and we're going to slap on these Frostspect runes. So obviously, this one, as you can see, has a 3, will apply for 3 seconds, a 27% chance, and has a cooldown of 12 seconds. But when we go ahead and attach this to our weapon, you can now see Now we have a 3 seconds with a 30% chance to hit and a cooldown of 1.8 seconds. This is where this gets absolutely overpowered. So now we're going to come back on in. Firstly, though, what you should try to do is try to find one of the Frostback runes that has the lowest cooldown on the ability or the highest chance to increase. So like this one has a 19% chance, this one has a 10%, this one has a 17, 18, 16, 10. So we'll go ahead and try to find the best one. So this is probably going to be the best one we can get, which is the 20% chance to hit. So we're going to go ahead and throw that on this. And now if we go ahead and look at it, we have a 50% chance for the ice to apply, and it'll apply for 3 seconds. And it has a cooldown of 1.8. Now this is what's broken is the rune that we were going to use earlier had an 18-second cooldown, meaning this is literally like 10 times faster. And there's a mechanic that'll make this even more broken. And so obviously, if you're wondering why gauntlets are the best for this, obviously, like I stated previously, they have some of the best DPS inside of the game. So we can go ahead and use these. But now if we come back on in here and we come down to fight some higher, boom. Now look at this. It's almost always applying the freeze ability to them, meaning you can be pretty much unkillable by all of these mobs. So we can even take this a step further and we can go ahead and fight one of these Yetis in here. So we're going to go ahead and just start hitting them. As you can see, one of them is already frozen. That one's frozen, and they just keep getting refrozen. So far, literally, that was the first time they hit me. So we're going to keep hitting them. Frozen, frozen. Then that one's still frozen. That one's frozen. And just like that, we got hit probably 2 times in total, and we froze them nonstop the whole time. So obviously, I'm going to go ahead and show you the recipe to make this absolute insane weapon. So firstly, we're going to have to reset. So I'll do that real quick. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to quickly head back on over, like I said previously, to the Forgotten Kingdom, because you have to be in the Forgotten Kingdom to craft gauntlets. Now, obviously, you can craft higher level gauntlets to make this way easier, but this is pretty much just going to be the base recipe. Since these ores are kind of easy to get inside of the new island, you don't have to use specifically this. But firstly, what we're going to use is we're going to put in 3 void stars. Now, the reason for this is obviously if you do want to check out the website I was referring it to earlier. As you can see right here, the void star kind of works like the eye ore of the second or third island. So as you see, we have a 33% chance for critical and a 15% critical damage increase, and the obviously minus vitality, but nonetheless, it is still a very, very good ore. So we'll go ahead and put 3 inside of this. Now, next, we're going to throw in, now you can either do one or the other. You can either do 3 Yeti hearts or you can do 3 golem hearts. I personally would recommend the golem heart because you get an extra passive from killing and using the golem heart, which obviously, if you look at this, it is this snow ability right here. Applies 25% attack speed and movement speed is slow for 3 seconds, 25% chance to hit. So this is a pretty good passive to use. Now, obviously, you don't have to, but for the sake of it, you can use just 3 Yeti hearts if you can't kill the golem. Now, that, then 3 void stars. Now we're going to use 2 ethereal light. Now, this is what makes this a glitch, obviously, if you're wondering. So beforehand, to craft a weapon and have its passive be applied to the weapon you're crafting, you have to have at least 30% of that weapon include the new ore with the trait. So for example, when I crafted this armor right here, if I wanted the vitality boost that comes from etherealite, which obviously is the main ore used in this, not only do I have to use majority of the thing has to be etherealite, but at least 33 or 30-ish% of the recipe has to include that thing. Now, what makes this recipe actually just broken for genuinely no reason is we're going to use 2 etherealite, we're going to use 3 Yeti hearts, we're going to use 3 void stars, and we're only going to use 1 eyesight. Now, just by using 1, you'd obviously assume that's clearly not a third, and you would be right, that is nowhere near a third, but we can still get some good gauntlet. Obviously, this is the best gauntlet, which is the claw, so this is a pretty good one to get. So we're going to go ahead and try to perfect craft it. Now, obviously, since these ores aren't too hard to get for the most part, I would try to recommend getting some of these really, really rare ones, like these ones just right here, these savage claws. Now, as you can see, they not only hit way faster than the ones we crafted previously, they use less or worse ore because these ones actually used the Yeti hearts or the golem ones, and these didn't. And as you can see, once again, we have this passive freeze enemies for 0.3 seconds, 3.75% chance to hit, and has a cooldown of 1.8. So it has the super broken passive once again. and then you can go ahead and just upgrade it and apply some Frostbite runes. Now, the best way you can get Frostbite runes is by far it's a super simple mechanic. Now, obviously, with this crafting recipe, if you do want to make it way better, my recommendation would be swapping out a few things. Firstly, you can swap out the etherealite for snowite if you want to. This will also have a passive that can be applied, or you can throw in crimsonite. My personal recommendation would be using, if you want a ton of just straight up passives, is using firstly malachite. I would use 3 malachite, 3 crimsonite, 2 void stars, and then 1 of the hearts. Now, the trade-off obviously being you don't have the critical, which is why I honestly would say you should probably always include void stars. And then if you use crimsonite, it is a 8.5 multiplier, and this will just give a 20% increase to physical damage. The malachite one right here has a weird trait, so I wouldn't really recommend using that. And then obviously you'll throw in the eyesight just right here, and then the Yeti or Golem heart. Now, as far as Frostbite runes go, these are actually super, super easy to get. So what we're going to do is just simply come on in here. Now, these are going to be potentially dropped by nearly any of the mobs inside of this area. I'm going to equip this sword just to make it real quick. So obviously, these tiny spiders probably won't drop them, but if you come further back in to these diamond spiders right here, just like that, they have a very high chance to drop them. Or you can go ahead and come in here and kill this boss right here. Just like that. We also just got a Frostbite rune from a normal crystal spider, so that is also possible. A very good way you can farm these is just coming in this section and gathering them all up, and then using your heavy attack if you can't one-shot them, and then just killing them all at once. And as you see, we got another Frostbite rune, and trying to get them to at least 15 to 20% chance to hit on those. But obviously, for the most part, you definitely need to take advantage of this because this bug is going to get patched soon. So make sure you take advantage of this. And that is pretty much it for this video. So make sure to leave a like, and I will see you on the next one.